Hi, welcome to SBR TV. This is our Week 4 College Football Experts Roundtable, where we are going to be looking at some of the interesting lines and lines that we think might have some value from the upcoming card in Week 4 of college football. And today we're joined by two brand new guests. I'm very excited to have both of them with us. We're joined by Doug Upstone from ImpactWageringSolutions.com, and then we are joined by Steve from CollegeFootballWinning.com. Thanks so much, guys, for being here.
Thank you for having us.
All right, let's just jump right in. The first game that Steve, that you wanted to talk about is sort of a game that I found pretty interesting, that I actually did bet on the opener, and that's the Thursday night game, North Carolina State at Cincinnati. This one opened at 7. I personally thought Cincinnati was a good bet, and I did bet it. And then it went up and up to 8. But now recently I've seen it's been going back down. And I'm wondering what your take on this game is. It's a revenge game for Cincinnati, high-profile Thursday night game. NC State, they kind of lost already to Wake Forest once by a touchdown. Cincinnati looks like they should probably be able to cover a touchdown more than 50% of the time, more often than not. What's your take on this line?
We have formula picks that we release, all based on algorithms.
Right.
This is not a formula pick, but this is what we would call maybe a near-miss game.
Okay.
So this is not an official formula pick, but it got real close.
Right.
What's not to like about Zach Collaros? He's fantastic. He's experienced. He's a senior. He plays very well in front of his home crowd. He's a mobile quarterback, and he's been fantastic this year. 7 touchdowns, no interceptions. He's thrown for 521 yards. I know they played Akron, but it's still an FBS opponent, and they just Zach in particular looked fantastic. And right behind him, you've got Isaiah Peed, again, another senior, fantastic experience, 257 yards on the ground. He's averaging 9.5 yards per carry. Their red zone scoring is 100%. 15 for 15 this year. There's nothing to dislike about this offense except maybe the offensive line, who I think, when we look at the other side of the matchup, we look at NC State, I think you're going to conclude with me that we like that matchup. Cincinnati is returning pretty much their entire defense. They're all upperclassmen,
right,
and they're all healthy, all of them. So not saying that they are necessarily the best defense you're going to find, but they are super experienced, they're pretty speedy. So if I can shift to NC State now, they are banged up, to say the least. And this is coming from Tom O'Brien himself. So even the coach said, we have right now 7 of our top 22 defensive guys are out. And Tom O'Brien himself said, these guys who are filling in are not fulfilling their assignments on defense.
Sure.
That's going to be trouble when they face Zach Collaros. Nippert Stadium is calling for a blackout, and it's a smaller place, relatively speaking, that could really just make that place sound like the noise is deafening.
Sure.
I really liked it at 7. I don't love it as much at 8 or even 7.5.
I love Cincinnati in this one, and Steve from CollegeFootballWinning.com supports that and agrees. And Doug Upstone, what's your take on this game? You generally agree with what we have to say?
Yes, I do, generally speaking. The first question, though, that I have is, why is this such a big game that ESPN's got to put these same 2 teams on 2 years in a row? I mean, it's Cincinnati and North Carolina State. Come on, it's not a big deal. Now, the one thing about Cincinnati that is a concern that both of you guys have mentioned is their defense.
Right.
They gave up 500 yards in Tennessee. North Carolina State, their defense has been a problem. The injuries have been well versed, and they'll have to have a chance in this game. What they really need to do is to reduce the number of big plays that Cincinnati typically can get. From that standpoint, this is a road sandwich game for NC State, and they're a pedestrian 10-10 against the spread since 2002. I like Cincinnati at 7, but actually the play that I like more is over on 60.
Mm-hmm.